Welcome to Crime Wave, Sam Raimi. Oh, for some reason, this is called Broken Hearts and Noses. 1985. I was just a little boy, 9 years old. For those of you who still don't get the appeal, Tom, uh, Crime Wave, as it's more popularly known, is the story of basically a pair of killers are hired to kill a boss's evil partner. But not that, hiring someone to call your partner is a good thing. They run an electrical installation company for security. He hires Ratman and Fatman, who run these sorts of normal rodent exterminators. See what they've done there? In order to kill the guy at night. In the meantime, uh, one of their employees, the little Hudsucker proxy type, is told not to go near the building by the good boss because he doesn't want him to be killed. So you have the dweeby boy sort of gets in an accident and meets the sexy lady and tries to take her on a night on the town. Meanwhile, Fat Man and Rat Man are out there killing pretty much everyone within the same town block that he lives in and that the security store is in. For a series of happenstance and kismet, while they're on their date, all these people die around them until finally the nerd has to defeat Fat Man and Rat Man and finally win over the girl from Bruce Campbell. That's where the fantasy is. He's Bruce Campbell. It's just not happening. Written by Joel and Ethan Cohen and directed by Sam Raimi. These are very big points on watching this film. Why? Given the fact that it's normally supposed to be about my revisiting it. Well, I'll tell you now, at the age of 9, 10, this is an odd one. This is one I did actually watch with my brother Mycroft. So my brother Mycroft would have been 16, 17 at the time. I remember the effects of it and some of the visuals, but really I remembered none of the story. It was a bit convoluted for my young mind. I did remember though my brother not being particularly impressed with it. He said the main thing was the denouement, which is when a nerdy boy marries and finally gets the girl. It's only then the girl realizes that marrying a nerd was a bad idea. That kind of ending happens. It's very rare for me to try and sit through this. This was a difficult film to watch. I think that's why I'm going on such a tangent. It's got all the elements that I thought I would love or even get more out of as an adult now. It's got great actors, the visuals that come into it, the slapstick. Even now, we're going to watch Bruce Campbell smoke a lady. Charlie Bond is banned from the comments. Um, didn't really work because unlike something like Airplane or even Scary Movie, which in and of itself is a very good film, it's too scatological. You've got great scenes, you've got great sense of expressionism, you've got a great sense of perspectives. The deaths are all over the place. The way the society is laid out and the stratification is all there, but there's not enough connective tissue. You don't really care what happens to Nerdy Boy. I can't even remember his name. That shows you how dull he was. You do get some great Three Stooges elements with Fat and Rat. There's obviously there. You can see the conceits. And I've got to admit, there's again though, it's all about the set pieces. Pulling an entire dining room towards him. Fat Man does this in order to get his kill. Chasing a woman through barriers of sets of doors. This you can see this film really only exists um, for completists. And there's so much in it that you see. You see the Big Lebowski in this. You will see the Hudsucker Proxy in it. Hudsucker Prison is mentioned here. You can see very much the lead is a prototype for Tim Robbins's character from there. But ultimately, Fat Man and Rat Man, the overlaying the voices, it's just too wry. It's it's one thing to have a nod and a wink, but when you're going ha 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 constantly with no sense of a pathos or pace, it just loses you. It just loses you. It's quite a brisk film, and even then, I just found it just. I did not connect to the characters. They are purely object. The film is really facile in that sense. Everything in it you've seen, probably ironically done better. This is such a crucial film in the development of Raimi and the Coens. However, the elements that they've taken from this and grown into and matured, this should have been a sketch show. This could have been a four rooms. You could have made a much easier film where the theme was one tower block itself and 100 different stories. You could have totally Eisnered the hell out of this film. They haven't. They've just gone for, see, that's a bit funny, that's a bit funny, that's a bit funny, but nothing connective. So for me, this was a sad visit, really. I have to say, um, at this juncture, I mean, the high points, ultimately, it's less than the sum of its parts. The visuals are great. Some lovely set pieces, but I would say, unless you really are a die-hard cineast completist who wants to get every little bit of the auteur journey of the Coens and Raimi, I'd swing this one. Just give it a high chair. So from me, that's Rob, and on the other ends. Until then, electricity.